The Ucab River Base Camp. The Ucab Dry River Basin is the world's oldest Namib Desert, 2,500 miles of barren northern coastline in Namibia. You can't get there from here. If you want to try, here's the shortest and best route to take. British Airways from Philly Airport, 8 hours to London. 1 hour to Frankfurt, Germany, and then 12 hours down the whole African continent to Windhoek, Namibia. That part of the journey only takes a day and a half, considering the 8-hour layover in Heathrow Airport. But the shopping is magnificent if you have money, and the food is exotic. There's a sleeping room and there's conveniences for young children and small kids. But then you got to get ready for that 7-hour drive straight from Swakop through the beautiful ancient fossil-rich Namib Desert. Baboons lurking everywhere, and 4-legged horned beasts of all types crossing the highway at dusk, so you got to watch out. Passing through about 5 small mining towns with kiosks and petrol stations where coffee, food, and cold drinks were abundant. And please try the strange foods that are very normal to the locals. Aha! Finally, Swakopmund. It comes upon you like a small, quaint European town from a distance. Flat, flat, and flat is the horizon on the coast, except for the world's tall sand dunes, especially after driving through the ancient, mountainous, primitive scenery in the Namib Desert, including Spitzkoppe, the most popular camping site in our part of the desert. Ah, hey man, let's go camping, is all you need to hear on a Friday night in any decent Swakop bar. We all get our sleepy bags, some wood for the fire, food, a kettle and cups, water, coffee, and any other recreational substance or musical treat that you can carry for an evening's entertainment. Everyone will bring black plastic bags so as not to leave trash or beer cans behind. Then off we go to Spitzkoppe. The colorful sunsets, the golden sunrises are glorious. Oh yeah, where were we? Oh yeah, Ucab. The Christmas holiday season, 3 weeks before I met Danielle, I had a severe attack of homesickness. Jimmy explained to me at Ike Am's early on as a desperate fear, homesickness, is that no one will ever remember you, and it's the best damn explanation I ever heard. I had been an expat for 5 years. NASA experts say if you can take aloneness for about 4 years, then you got to go home and fuel up on familiarity. Otherwise, you will seek new psychic solace, and that is called going native. I hope this makes sense to you. Simply put, you lose the loyalty to the old and begin a loyalty to the new. It's called in America the Stockholm Syndrome. You begin to sympathize with your captors, even if the aloneness is forced upon you. Being alone is not a natural state for mankind. We seek company, and we take what we get. I was truly there. I was so there. I wanted to walk home to Wilmington, Delaware, straight across the 8,000-mile Atlantic Ocean, and I wanted to leave that night. Early in that afternoon, I met Andrew and Janita at the bistro. I moaned a bit and started tearing up, and both reacted embarrassed. Suddenly, Jenny popped into the bar and whispered in my ear and left. I did not react at first. I just said thanks as she slipped out the front door. I told both of them. She had had a call from America. I got the news from Jenny that my very best lifetime pal died of a heart attack, my old buddy Wayne. We were very close mates from first grade, communion, together all the way through graduation from Northeast Catholic High School, and then we did a tour in the United States Marine Corps, and after that we went on to Bloomsburg State Teachers College together. He was really and truly more like a brother than any brother I could ever have. I was sick with heartbreak and loneliness anyway, and he was one of my few friends that actually understood me. He knew I was a compulsive leader and never followed the advice of a single soul in any single matter whatsoever in my entire life. He knew me. Oh my God, how I missed Wayne. And what made it worse, I wanted to go home with him. I wanted to die that instant in the worst way. God, how I cried. After a few hours of embarrassed commiseration with him, I declared I had to go out into the bush alone. They said compassionately that they would drive me halfway to the loneliest place in the entire universe that I knew of, the Ukab Dry River Basin. I knew of a guy that was stationed out there in the real wild. He was managing the Rhino Trust, a British NGO. That's called a non-governmental organization. He was saving the black rhinos from extinction. I knew I could find him and throw my sleepy bag on the sand on the ground and stay a while as I OD'd on being alone. My instinct told me a lone discipline imposed on me right now could cure my homesickness, or at least drive me completely nuts. Either way was okay with me at that point in my suffering. I was truly suffering, crying uncontrollable tears. I had an elevated heart rate, the sweats, a headache, stomach acid burning my throat, and severe cramps. I'm telling you, I was suffering. I had to get out of Swakopmund, and I had to get out fast. I had money for petrol and food to go halfway and back. Then they had to drop me off and turn back, and I would press on alone. We headed up the Namib Desert coastline past the magenta-colored salt pans, oyster farms, and small villages of Hintus Bay, along the fierce-looking and forbidding Atlantic Ocean toward Cape Cross, a popular tourist photographic stop, a fantastic nature site, enormously populated as a seal colony. You do not need a signpost. It stank for miles. The ride was soothing, bumpy, and full of chatter about our cyber school projects to start after the holiday in February, and I began to relax. At Cape Cross, we hung a right and headed east into the desert toward the Ukab Dry River Basin. It was very bumpy, and that would be an exaggeration. Potholes and darkness do not mix. We had traveled about 8 hours altogether and came to a small, one-horse town, really tiny. I said, I think this is far enough. Let me out here. I waved goodbye and wondered what the hell I was doing there in the middle of the night alone. I felt great. I rolled my sleeping bag onto a front lawn of a small, darkened motel near a parking lot with no cars in it, and I stared at the stars all night, thinking about how much I loved Wayne, then how much I loved my family, then how much I loved my friends, and then I fell asleep.